IDK how he pulled this off. That is nor here nor there. Anyway, he warned us not to let her move into our new home. Literally got the key 5 days before the wedding and such. Do we listen? Go ahead and guess, guys. I'll wait. Okay, time's up. Back to the story. New. Hello there. Redditor here. Alright. We got a doozy here. I'm honestly surprised the post hasn't blown up more yet. Hey guys, this is Redditor from about 3 hours into the future, currently editing this video and questioning my life decisions. It's been taken down by the mods. So damn. Guess it's as intense to everyone as it was to me when I read it. Okay, anyway, back to that handsome devil that is Redditor 3 hours ago. We have a murderous mother-in-law on our hands. An MJNMIL if you will. Please, if you enjoy the video, smash that like button and subscribe. God, I wish YouTube didn't hate me in the algorithm so much. Anyway, video time. Just no mother-in-law. My mother-in-law tried to kill me. Trigger warning, anti-Semitism and swearing. Hello Justnomil. I'm still processing this, so bear with me here. I normally kind of get annoyed with posts on this Reddit cause well. Okay, let's not get into it. Point is, this is uncomfortable for me, but I'm so out of it right now I don't know what else to do. Oh, obligatory, this is a throwaway account. Prior to getting engaged, I did ask her father for permission to marry his daughter. Not only did he says yes, but he told me he had money secretly put aside for the wedding and there is none he would rather have as a future son-in-law. Some context, I'm 25 male and my wife is 24 female. We live in upstate New York. My mother-in-law is 60, let's call her Lori. Father-in-law also 60 and my parents aren't really a story to get into right now. My mother-in-law and I always got along over the course of mine and my wife's relationship. As far as I knew, she liked me. Then, we got engaged a few months after graduating college. Before posting on social media, we decided to tell her parents in person, since we were going to be visiting them that weekend anyway. We asked them if they would like to meet up at a local restaurant, which I'm not naming here, which they have been going to with their daughter on nice occasions literally their entire lives. This is where it all started. We met at the restaurant around 6 PM, waited a while. My wife was wearing her engagement ring, but had gloves on. When we sat down and put in a drink order, and for some mozzarella en Carrozza, if you haven't had it, you need to try it BTW. Lori slammed her wine back like it was a Coke, and put in an order for a second glass. This is normal for her, I just kind of don't pay attention to it. When her second glass came with the appetizer, my wife told her parents the news, and took her gloves off. Her father smiled and looked at the ring, and gave a whistle, and said complimented the ring. Then made a dad joke about having money to support his daughter. All nice and well. Lori was silent. She just stared at her glasses and swirled it. She looked deep in thought, I guess, is the way to word it. She looked and smiled, and said something like, well, that's lovely, after an uncomfortably long pause. I looked at my now wife and she looked as confused as I was. She asked Lori if something was wrong, and we got a "not at all, this is wonderful," just in shock, and proceeded to finish her second glass. I ordered a bottle of champagne and her another glass. The meal was normal, but there was just an off vibe. I stood up to go to the bathroom, and when I came back, everyone was silent. I asked everyone what was wrong and my wife blurts out, "Nothing, we are leaving." She got up, told her mother she can't stand to look at her, and stormed out. In my surprised state, I just apologized to her parents and asked for the check. I asked what happened, and Lori was silent, and my father-in-law just said, "I think that's for your fiance to tell you." I won't lie, it felt good to hear someone refer to her as my fiance, but honestly I was just lost at this point. The waitress brought the check very quickly and told me she would ring me up at the front, which is not normal at all. I said goodbye and her mother was seemingly ambivalent to me, and her father said he's sorry too. He also said he would get the tip. I didn't understand what was going on, so I just said thank you and walked to podium/counter area. The waitress, while looking down, asked me, "Are you Jewish?" I just kind of looked at her confused and asked what. That woman yelled at who I'm guessing is your fiance and said she is not marrying a Jew over her dead body. That's all I heard. I was shocked. I didn't know what to say. I'm not even necessarily Jewish. One of my grandparents is Jewish. But anyway, after the shock wore off I felt myself filled with rage, like I hadn't felt in years since. Well again my parents are a story all of their own. I walked out, and my now wife was crying behind the car. We got in the car and she started kissing me and telling she loves me and she never wants to see her mother again. She told me everything. Evidently her mother is way more anti-Semitic than I had even fathomed. Like, legit. Believes full-blown Jews have horns and hide them in the silly hats level anti-Semitic. Fast forward to the wedding shortly before the pandemic. Lori, who had at this point was considering divorcing her father over his approval, and having had apparently kept our engagement a secret from her, was actually surprisingly pleasant at the wedding. Apparently he should have known better and evidently is going to hell for supporting us. I cannot make this up. The crazy level is so high her father has evidently spoken to every divorce lawyer in the area before she could, and they no longer live together. I told my fiance as much as I love her I don't think I can cause her parents to split up and do that to her, and she said her father has made a point to tell her that this has been brewing behind the scenes for years and that he has been miserable. He evidently has been smoking massive amount of the devil's lettuce in secret to deal with her and has been hiding money from her off the books for years because he doesn't trust her. He made a point to literally hand me thousands and thousands in cash. I shiz you not, it was $2,500 bands in 2 duffel bags. It was like $75k. He said to spend all of it on the wedding and to use any extra on the honeymoon. The total wedding cost $61,568.20. It was a great honeymoon budget. Anyway, wedding. Lori was sober the entire time, which I guess should have been a red flag. She was evidently perfect and supporting and told her daughter that if this is what she wants she won't stand in her way. Also should have been a red flag, but we were so relieved I guess we just weren't thinking. She gave a speech at the wedding telling everyone how happy she was and all this cliche nonsense. Again red flags for her. Seriously, this is like either complete disassociation or manipulation on her part. I later figured out it was the latter, but again, at the time, just happy my wife had her perfect wedding. Fast forward to us flying home from the honeymoon, and we turn out phones on as we land to find a flurry of texts from her father saying to call him when we land. Evidently, he filed for divorce and is kicking her out of the house because he has owned the home since prior to their marriage. IDK how he pulled this off, that is nor here nor there. Anyway he warned us not to let her move into our new home. Literally got the key 5 days before the wedding and such. Do we listen? Go ahead and guess guys, I'll wait. Okay, time's up. Back to the story. New Lori is now supporting and loves me. This is my chance to reaffirm that. This is my wife's chance to convince herself everything is fine. We are happy. Things are good. Then, she tried to kill me. This whole thing was an act to get my guard down and get rid of me before we made her devil grandchildren. Her plan? Let me lay it out for you as I understand it. She is a phenomenal cook. She was cooking dinner with my wife most nights teaching her the family recipes and such. I admittedly have been eating so many carbs I think I had gained almost 20 pounds since the wedding at that point. That level monja know what I'm saying lol. I've lost most of it by now, but anyway, back to the story. A few weeks ago my wife and I go to see her father for brunch. Her father asks how things have been going, and we tell him the truth. It was going great. He was surprised, and just kind of said something, like I guess the divorce wasn't really about you to then. It was a weird moment. He really hasn't been the same since they got divorced. Anyway we come home and see her mother is cooking in the kitchen. Fairly normal, she's a very stereotypical Italian mother/mother-in-law. She legit was making tomato sauce in a giant pot that had already been on the stove for a few hours. It's a Sunday and there's football on. She tells us to go relax and she will have dinner ready around 6. Cool. It's important I tell you, before going on I'm allergic to shellfish, and in recent years have found I'm no longer allergic to shrimp, mussels, and clams. To be honest, it all doesn't look like food to me anymore at this point, so I don't even try it for myself. Not my risk it for the biscuit situation. 6 comes she serves us what essentially looks like ziti with a really thick bolognese meat sauce. It was delicious. Like seriously the best thing I ever ate. It just tasted like really good meat sauce. Evidently, she had made a clam sauce and buried the flavor with some combination of a shitload of garlic, spices, and wine. IDK how she did it, but even my wife did not recognize the flavor. She sat with us in the living room to watch the games with us and eat. This is extremely weird. B/C she hates football and doesn't like to eat in the living room. But hey, great food, great football, great moment. Life's great. Somehow I've boomeranged this relationship with Lori and she loves me as a son-in-law. And well, that's all that happened that night. Then, my wife goes to throw out some napkins and screams. Lori, the lush she is, had I guess began drinking over the prior hours, and in her borderline buzz/wine drunk state didn't even attempt to hide what I guess was type of clam juice and some cooked clams in a Ziploc. I guess she has cooked them with the sauce and removed them. IDK, when it comes to cooking I can make things by following the directions, but for the most part I leave that to my wife while I do OT at home, trying to save up to pay this damn mortgage off early. I swear there was no fishy smell, there was no fishy taste, there was literally no way I could have detected such a thing. Here's the thing, nothing happened. There was no reaction, because I'm no longer allergic to clams. She was furious. Not furious about the accusation, furious when I reminded my wife, in front of Lori, I'm no longer allergic to clams and mussels. She literally started screaming at me for being a sneaky Jew who was capable of figuring her out. Then she snaps too, and backtracks and say I made her do it. Evidently Jews can pull Jedi mind tricks on people now in her twisted mind. Again, one grandparent is Jewish. I've literally never celebrated a Jewish holiday since their passing. That is nor her nor there though. Point is, she tried to poison me to make me go into anaphylactic shock for the second time in my life. She even has apparently hid my EpiPens on me when I wasn't paying attention. And by his I mean she threw them out too. We found them along with some crazy looking herbs in a bag that we didn't even bother getting into. I didn't get a chance to kick her out. My wife beat me to it. She literally ran into her room and began packing her bags, and I won't lie, she may or may not have thrown some stuff at Lori and broken some things of hers that may or may not have been very expensive. She literally threw her bags out the window onto the driveway. I guess I should remember that if our marriage goes the way of her parents. Lori charged at me and began flailing punches at me and attempting to kick me in the place you don't kick a man. She was screaming how I'm evil and tricked her into this to steal her daughter from her. I regularly boxed before the pandemic to stay in shape, and I just kind of bobbed and weaved while blocking my nads from being pummeled. She then bit my arm and stormed off to put her stuff, now basically a pile, on the driveway in her car and sped off. This has been the craziest thing to happen to me. My wife has since been telling me about some seriously mentally and emotionally abusive things her mother has done over the years, and that this was so far beyond the final straw. It's not even funny. I feel awful. I have destroyed my wife's parents' marriage. I have destroyed her relationship with Lori, as well as one of her aunts and that aunt's children. It makes me feel evil. Like I did something wrong here. This woman literally felt I was so terrible she attempted to murder me, probably expecting jail time. She had such conviction she was angry at me for not dying, and then decided I tricked her into this. I have no relationship with my parents or my mother-in-law. It seems everywhere I go family dies. I know this sounds silly, but I just can't help but feel this is all my fault. My wife just seems so broken. She's really grappling with some serious childhood trauma, and the fact this woman literally was only pretending to be this amazing new mom to her, just to sociopathically manipulate us into letting her kill me. Before anyone asks, no, I'm not pressing charges. I don't really think it could be proven, and she can just claim she knew I was no longer allergic and then make some fake counter charges. I don't know what to do. My wife is so broken, I don't know how to make her feel better. I do not care about me anymore. I can live with this. It's over. It's done. I don't have to see her anymore. But the love of my life is confronting the largest betrayal of her life, and I think Lori succeeded in killing something, just not me. Part of my wife died that day. I don't know what to do. I just want my wife back. The light is gone in her eyes. She just isn't the same person and nothing I do seems to help. And she can't go to therapy because of her job. It's a long story. I'm sorry if this story was rambling. I guess I haven't been fully processing everything because I just frankly am not my priority at this moment. Please, how do I help her? Am I wrong? What do I do? I've never seen my wife so angry and violent in those moments, and it's like she felt so much raw emotion in that moment. She's just emotionless now. She must be depressed, but for all I know it's shock, or she resents me, or I just don't know. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Please do not direct MSG me as this is a throwaway, and I will not be logging back in. I'm going to go bury myself in my work for some overtime pay while she is asleep.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball!
Stupid wall! Move, damn it! Move! Let me pass! Ah!
Whoa, you made it to the end? Nice. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and like. I'm a new channel, and it helps a lot more than you think. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
That's a 10.